Yo, this is Lefty. So I'm going to do something a little different. I am going to make this video, it's going to be about 10 or 12 minutes. But I'm going to put all the fights on one video because I don't really have that much to say about the HBO fight. So I'm just going to tag that, and include that in all this. But altogether, we got 5 fights. So it's hard to complain about this weekend. Should be a great night of boxing. But let's get into it. First off, we're going to do the HBO telecast. It's headlined by Crawford and Diaz. But let's get to Beltran and Maicelo first. Now, Beltran in his last outing disposed of this very good amateur. The kid Mason Menard, he was a good amateur. I think I thought he had good skills. I just thought he fought the wrong fight. He tried to bomb out Beltran, and when he could see that Beltran could take his shots, then he tried to box, but by then he was already tired, and Beltran just capitalized. And Beltran was super sharp. The sharpest I've ever seen him be, and he ended up stopping Menard. So, I think if Menard were to fight Maicelo, I think it's a solid fight. I think Menard and Maicelo are on the same level, which means they'd have to be a level under Beltran. Some deficiencies I seen with Maicelo was that he's got, quick hands. He's got good hands, and he's a quick-handed fighter that likes to fight from the mid to outrange. Beltran is going to press that, and I think with this kid, Maicelo, he's not a kid. He's like 33, but Maicelo, whenever this is boxing 101. You don't throw a left hand with your right hand at your chest. You just don't do it. And he did that, and he got dropped at least once in one of the fights that I've seen for that exact reason. Because when you do that, a guy like Beltran is going to parry that shot and is going to come with a left hook over your low right hand, or vice versa. It's boxing 101. And I say that every week on here. Look at his hand placement. Look at his hand placement. I keep saying it. So, here we go. We got pros out there not learning the fundamentals. What is boxing doing? Anyway, that's my rant. Beltran's going to knock him out in rounds 8 through 10. I think it's going to take a while for Maicelo to slow down and for Beltran to settle in. By that time, it'll be like the 3rd or 4th round. And Beltran will start getting in his grill a little bit. And once he starts doing that and taking advantage of the countering opportunities that Maicelo's hand placement presents, I think it's going to be, between the 8th or 10th round that he's able to get a stoppage, probably off a counter left hook. As for Crawford and Diaz, all the Terrence Crawford fans are applauding this fight. All the Terrence Crawford fans are saying, man, I really wanted to see Felix Diaz in there. Felix Diaz is 140 pounds and 5'5", with, I think, a Manny Pacquiao reach. What is he going to... Name one thing that Felix Diaz does better than Crawford. One thing. He had a better amateur career. That's great. That doesn't help him now. Who has Felix Diaz fought? He's fought 2 names. He's fought Lamont Peterson, which that was a close fight. And Lamont Peterson is a level below Terrence Crawford, by the way. And I think that's Felix Diaz's hardest fight. Because then he fought the kid that fought Broner. His name escaped my mind right now. And that kid, you know, he got dropped because of hand placement too. Felix Diaz dropped him because of hand placement. Terrence Crawford is not Adrian Granados. That's his name. You know, Crawford is not Granados. Granados is a solid fighter, just like Lamont Peterson is, just like Felix Diaz is. I think Felix Diaz doesn't have better power, he doesn't have better speed, and his defense isn't better than Terrence Crawford. But I'll give him credit on the amateur background. So I think Crawford goes unanimous decision on here, because I think once Felix Diaz senses that he can't win this fight, he's going to go into survival mode, and he's not going to open himself up the way that Molina did and the way that Molina got himself knocked out. But if Crawford knocks out Diaz, I'll be impressed. Crawford needs to step up his game. He needs to go after bigger fish. He needs to step up weight division already. Like, there's no one else at 140. There's no one else at 140. There's no one on the horizon from 135 coming up from 140 that's going to actually fight him. He needs to get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. That's it, period. But anyway, so I'll go UD and Crawford. I'll be impressed with the stoppage. Let's go on to the Showtime telecast. We got a guy named, his last name is Relikh, against Rances Barthelemy. Barthelemy's fighting. He moved up to 140. Let's see how he carries the weight. Relikh, he was getting caught up by Ricky Burns the last time I seen him. And Relikh is going to try to use his size, impose his size and strength. And he's going to walk in square. And he's going to look to pressure him. That's his game. He's going to walk in square too, everything. So, if Barthelemy doesn't TKO him in under 6 rounds, he should seriously consider moving down to 135. He's a tall guy for a lower weight division guy, but there's limits on how much weight that you can carry in the ring and be effective. And Barthelemy's got that Diego Corrales body, and I remember when Corrales jumped to 147 to fight Clottey, and he didn't look great. So the good thing is Relikh isn't Clottey. But yeah, if Barthelemy goes like 10, 11 rounds with this guy, move back down to 135. But I am predicting a TKO off of Barthelemy. Now, Uzcategui versus Dirrell. Uzcategui fought Korobov. That's his only professional loss. The fight went to a decision. And Uzcategui was, he was competitive. Then he went and fought one of the Jackson brothers and knocked him out in 2 rounds. Or 3. 2 rounds, I think. And Dirrell's only 2 losses. Dirrell's only 2 losses have come against the tip-top level in the world. He dropped the split decision against Frotch. And then he got beat by, it was Frotch and James DeGale. James DeGale is the best fighter at 168 right now. Frotch was the best fighter at 168 when they fought. Uzcategui is a good fighter, but as he proved against Korobov, he is just simply not on the level of James DeGale or Frotch. And Matt Korobov, he got smoked on his way up the ladder too, against a lesser fighter than Uzcategui, I thought. So at the end of the day, I think it was against one of the Jackson brothers actually. But at the end of the day, Uzcategui, technique-wise, is going to try to come in there. He likes to fight mid to outside range, and he likes to be first and press forward. And he's got a long right hand. And Dirrell, he likes to box the same range. What I would tell Dirrell, and what I expect Dirrell to do, is get that outside angle on that front foot. Do not lose that angle. So establish your front foot positioning on the outside of his front foot. Get that angle. Jab. Be first with the left hand. Make sure you're throwing that left hand before he's throwing his right. That'll force him backward. When he goes backward, he's nowhere as effective, and he suffered a knockdown by Korobov going backward. I don't think he's the same fighter going backward as he is coming forward. And then that's how Dirrell wins this fight. I expect a couple knockdowns, maybe a late stoppage. Depending on, if Uzcategui, if he pushes the issue, he could push it to a decision. But it all depends on how much punishment Uzcategui wants to take and how often he allows himself to get pushed back. Dirrell is pushing him back consistently, starting in like the 5th or 6th round. I don't think Uzcategui is going to go the distance. So it really kind of depends. It's hard to predict. But I could see a possibility where it goes to a decision and it takes till the 8th round, 9th round for Dirrell to consistently push him back. I could also see Dirrell figure him out early because he's got that pedigree. And he starts pushing him back the 4th or 5th round, leading to an 8th, 9th, 10th round stoppage. So it could go both ways on that. As far as Gary Russell and Oscar Escandon, now, maybe a lot of people don't know about Escandon, but this dude, he's pretty good. He's a short fighter. Russell and him are both short guys. But Escandon, he actually owns a stoppage off of Jesus Cuellar. And this was before Cuellar switched up his style. Escandon was going forward in that fight, and Jesus Cuellar, the guy that just lost to Abner Mares, the guy that's like the big featherweight that pushes forward, and he's a brawler, He didn't always have that style. He tried to outbox Escandon, and Escandon just got on him, and, it was over, I want to say like the 8th round. Something like that. Now, Escandon tried to be cute in there, and he tried to do something, or what's his face? Cuellar tried to do some things. Listen, Russell is not Cuellar. Russell is going to show off that hand speed. What I want to see him bring back, and what I think he's going to bring back, because he finally added this to his game last fight against Johnny Gonzalez, is that jab. He used to have a flicking Shane Mosley jab before, when he fought Lomachenko. Then he lost, then he came back, and now he's fighting Escandon after he fought Johnny Gonzalez. Well, when he fought Johnny Gonzalez, he brought back this stiff jab that set up the rest of his offense that you were just thinking, why didn't he have this before? But now he's got it. So, with that jab, I think he knocks out Escandon. And, that jab will just give you problems. Once you start landing that, you're not going to see anything else coming, especially with the hand speed that Russell's got. I'd say mid-fight, 6-7 round, Russell should be able to knock him out. And it might be like a highlight reel knockout, like just like Johnny Gonzalez was. it might be one of those type of knockouts. But it all depends on what Gary Russell's worked on in camp, and is he sitting down on his shots? Is he only going to bring his hand speed? Is he going to sit down on his shots? Is he going to bring that jab back? We'll see. But I'd lean on a Russell stoppage in this fight. So take it easy. Have fun watching those 5 fights. I'm going to try to catch the prelims if I'm off work Saturday night. But have a great weekend. Lefties out. Peace.